I am the Headless Headhunter. I am a corporate recruiter here to get you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resumes and giving other advice. So we have up first a software engineer, backend. What kind of backend software engineer, you ask? I don't know. I hope I can find out. So I should be able to tell immediately what kind of backend software engineer you are based on your keywords, not necessarily just the title. When you're applying to software engineer positions, you need to specify front end, full stack, or backend. And when you're in the backend, you need to specify if it's Python, Java, or C. I guess there's some others like Ruby on Rails or COBOL or something, but those are very rare. So they each have different keywords. This person's ratio, which is how many applications it takes to get an interview, is not great. It's 100 to 1. They are also in the United Kingdom, and I will say I'm a US-based recruiter. My advice mostly translates outside of the US, but it's not always 100%. US markets, I know. Every other market, So what we're going to be looking for is your stack very clearly, and Cloud, SQL, and API. Almost every single software engineer needs those. So let's find out if they do it. All right. Formatting is a little off. This should be bolded. None of this should be bolded. There's too many lines. Just use this. I have a resume guide on my website. You really want to use it. I just put it up, so it should help people out a lot. But this formatting is off. This should be one line. This should be one line. I don't think your dissertation matters unless it's well known. Like if you're in a very popular publication and that dissertation got picked, then yeah, that makes more sense. So, but otherwise this should fit into a total of 2 lines. So, software engineering test, developed and maintained. My dog is licking my hand right now. Do not want that, Bear. I love you. Please do not. Developed and maintained infrastructure for performance analysis, test automation, reporting using Python, good, Go, and AWS. All right, so this seems like Python. I know it's engineering test is slightly different. So the keywords for Python developer in the United States, I was not able to get the UK one, are going to be as follows. In the US, this is a Python backend. So that is open JavaScript. All right, Python, SQL, any of them, Docker, Kubernetes, Django, Cloud, and its words, so like AWS has EC2, RESTful APIs, Agile, Git, CI/CD, and full stack. So that is what we're going to be looking for. And this is not the worst. Python is good, Go is unnecessary, CI/CD is good, Python is good. I don't really care about these. Again, this may be slightly different. I was not able to update this for the UK. So these are the United States ones. Could be different. Developed internal tools in Python with REST APIs for testing deploying Python using Go and AWS. Okay, Python, Flask, Bash, various teams. So this is not the worst. I wonder if you could just put software engineer here. I don't want you to lie, but if you could just put software engineer. But I need to focus a little bit more on these things. Your problem is you have a bunch of extraneous stuff. So I care about Python. I care about AWS. I also care about Docker, Kubernetes, and Django. I don't know if you have that. I care about Cloud, which is good right here. RESTful APIs, good right here. Let's see, what are we missing? Agile, I am missing. And then Flask, SQLite, and Bash, I don't know if I care about. I do care about the sequel, but not the other one. So this is not terrible, and I think this is why you're getting 100 to 1, is twofold. One, your formatting is a little off, makes it hard to read. So threefold, actually. One is your formatting. Two, you need a little bit more in your keywords, not a ton, primarily the libraries that you're going to be using, the common ones. And Git, you should have Git. And 3, it's possible you are applying too late, or there's a visa issue. It says you do not require visa sponsorship now in the future. I have no idea how that works in the UK. But so ATSs, right? How everybody gets ATSs wrong. They think they're some magnificent beast of a computer that will scan your resume for keywords. And no, the keywords are not for the ATS. I'm not telling you to put these keywords down for the ATS. The ATS doesn't care. It is just a file cabinet, basically. The keywords are for the recruiters and hiring managers who have 15 seconds to find it. That's why the formatting is important. Is the worse your formatting, the less time we get to find the stuff we need. So that does mean that ATSs sort people in the order they applied. And right now, I am assuming in the UK, the tech market is as bad as it is in the US. And because of that, that does mean you need to be one of the first people to apply. You need to be within the first 100. Because otherwise, if you are not, it could be you are applicant number 132, and they find who they need at applicant 79, and they stop looking after that. Once you find enough candidates for interview, you don't keep looking. Sometimes the recruiters leave the job postings up, sometimes they close them. It really depends on the company and their internal policy, but you want to be fast. So I'm going to guess that you have almost enough keywords. You're going to need a little bit more of like stuff like Docker, Kubernetes, and Django. You need to get rid of some of the extraneous stuff, and your formatting is a little bit off, so you do need to fix that. Again, nothing here should be bolded, but I also imagine that you are applying too late, and the later you apply, the worse your chances. So that's all I can really do on this one. And before I go, please like, comment, and subscribe to the next resume. It's always beneficial. It helps me. And if you need more help, I get these keywords on my Twitch chat Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. PST, when I live stream at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume review of a UK game developer. Let me put UK real quick. So I don't have a ton of experience in game development, but it took me, I would say, 20 minutes of working with this person in my chat, and I might have cracked the code on how you're supposed to write specifically for game dev. You still want to use my formatting, you still want to find the keywords, but I figured out where it's broken down into, because when I was looking through the job postings of it, my mind was screaming that these are separate jobs, but I couldn't figure out how. So game dev is broken down into two different things on average. There's also like some art stuff, but in the UK, there is the server side. So this is going to be server side jobs primarily. So you're talking like MMOs like World of Warcraft or Poe, Path of Exile, which I think Path of Exile counts as an MMO, multi-multiplayer, Diablo, that kind of stuff. So these are going to be your primary cloud, like internet-based games where massive multiplayer, League of Legends, that kind of stuff, MMOs. For that, you're going to be, your resume should show like cloud, matchmaking, server orchestration, CI/CD, DevOps, API, SQL, Python, Docker, and Kubernetes. But there's another type of role, which is like the internal game engines and physics. And for that, they want to see 3D math, animations, Unreal, physics systems, debug, and resolve complex issues. So these should be separate resumes. And this was like, woo, it took me a while till I figured this one out. So these should be separate resumes, but in addition, you still want this in both of those, which is C++, C# networking, shipped projects, multitask on a deadline, cross-functional, and like previous stuff you've worked on. So with all that said, this is probably not going to be super accurate because we found the differences between the two, and this is what happens when you come on my live chat, is I can dig way deeper into this. So let's see if this has both of this stuff. All right, highlights. Normally I'm not a fan of a highlight, but in this case, normally I'm not, but the game industry is very particular about what you've done before. And if you say worked on, I don't know, if you Undertale or World of Warcraft, even though Undertale was a single dev, that is well known in the game industry, they will very much like that. So what I think should happen is, instead of saying a highlights, instead of saying this, even though Cadia fell before the guards did, which is very accurate, Cadia stands, is don't have this, just keep this part. Just at the top under it, that just shows, you don't even need to say highlights, just say, worked on the 1971 Indian Steam, which received an Epic Mega Grant and won Game of the Year 2000 from that. They will love that. Also, you will need to see what kind of game this is. I assume since it's a naval one, it would be similar to like World of Warships, but it's not a sponsorship. But you should probably say what kind of game it was. Like, I assume it's not going to be an FPS or a MOBA, but they may not be, even though they may not be aware of what type of game it is, they are aware that how important that is. So we want to make sure it's extra clear. So here, Unreal. So now we're focusing more on the game engine part. So shared code ownership, Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is good. Instrumental ensuring again. You don't need all this because this is already here. In fact, as this, normally I don't think you need any of this. I think this just should be your first bullet point down here. So just worked on the blank, which received a grant and did all that. And then you can say using and like C++, C#, and then one or two other stuff. So that way you can have your cake and eat it too. You can have all of this stuff. Improve vehicle code architecture, good through pair reviews for tighter. So this is two common classes. Vehicle physics. So the key thing I'd be looking for here is the physics and the vehicle code architecture. The problem is I don't know if you really want to have all of this, and we want to have a little bit more. Resolved organizational conflicts between development and design teams by incorporating user feedback to adjust game feel and early campaign mission. This is good. I like this. This is video game specific. So my biggest problem is, right, you have this giant wall of text here. I don't know if you use C++ or C#. I don't know. Like, again, this is an okay thing to put in. This should just be your first sentence over here. But I don't know if you use C++ and C#. I don't know if you've done networking. I don't know if you shipped project. This is shipped, so that's fine. That's actually good. I don't know if you've multitasked on a deadline, nor... And this is written a little off. Resolved organizational conflicts. That's okay. So yeah, I'm mainly missing like this stuff, and then where's the 3D math? Physics system is good. Unreal, do you have Unreal? I don't know if you used Unreal. Again, I don't work in the game industry. It would be cool to. There it is. Unreal's right up there. But where's debug and resolve code? So you only have about 40% of what I need here, and that's a bigger problem. Although again, like this is you submitted this after we broke it down into two separate things, but I am still, at least for the game engine section, I'm missing 3D maths as well. Like, I want you to just say, you know, worked on blah 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 Steam, which received X conference. In fact, I would say, no, this is how you break it down. Okay, worked on the X part in Steam using C++, C#, 3D maths, and Unreal Engine. Which one and received, and then you put in the rest of this. Then this is improved vehicle code architecture through code reviews, along with debugging and resolving complex problems and customized physics simulation. But I need a little bit more. Resolved organizational conflicts between development and design leads by incorporating using feedback. Just game is good. But where is the deadlines? How long did it take? Yeah, I get that it's for 3 months or whatever, but like, what was your deadline? Was your deadline 1 month? Was your deadline 6 months? I do not know. So you are missing about 50% of these, and I think once we get them, it's going to be really good. And then you can, because like it's just a little too bare, right? Like there's not, this is what they're looking for. I don't see C++. So I'm going to help with them more in chat on my Twitch for now. Otherwise, let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a full stack software engineer. We don't know their ratio because this is a newer resume. And let's begin. So for full stack, what we need is TypeScript, Python, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Node, Angular, Next.js, MongoDB, SQL, React.js, API, REST, Cloud, Agile, CI/CD, and cross-functional. Every single time I am debating on if cross-functional should be there, but I see it enough that it should be. Although again, if you miss it, it's not the worst. And bonus points are architecture, architected, any extra languages, and Git. So let's begin. Also, this person is a longtime joiner of my stream, and they have committed a giant shame of accidentally submitting a resume with their contact information up top. So I cannot move it from here, and everybody can shame them in the comments. So let's begin. All right, this is fine. This is good. So led the full stack development of a Bitcoin collectible auction house using JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML, CSS, and in an AWS environment. Good. So I know I have it written like this up here. Just put a comma. You don't want to put a slash in between them. I would not do that at this point. You could just say JavaScript, comma, TypeScript, comma, HTML, comma, and CSS in an AWS environment. So, streamline backend processes by optimizing Node.js and PostSQL queries, leading to faster API responses and reduced server load. Good. Deployed via Vercel, Docker, and Amazon Web Services. Okay, so there's a slight error in that you want to make sure this is up here if you're going to do that. Also, you do need to write stuff out. AWS might be one of those where you don't need to. It's really weird because GCP you do need to, but I don't know if you need to do it for AWS or not, but it's still safe to do it, so I will say do that, but it needs to be up here. The very first time you're going to use that acronym is when you have to explain it, and then you don't need to explain it for the rest of it. So it should be Amazon Web Services, parentheses, AWS environment, and then we can have here, so backend, PostSQL, Linux APIs, deployed Versal Docker, Amazon Web Cloud, good, streamlined CI/CD with GitHub Actions, and monitored performance via Sentry. I don't know if Sentry is needed or not, but you got the stuff I'd actually want up here, so that's really good. Unit testing with React, good. I know the React is just there. I don't know. And Cypress, develop modular API with robust data validation, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is pretty solid. So I think that's pretty good. Like I said, I think that one of the few things I'd say is make sure that this is written out as Amazon Web Services and then in parentheses. And it's okay if a bullet point is like 3 lines. So that's always okay. Let's see. And my only other critique would be there's a couple of extraneous stuff which would be okay because you mentioned the others, but where you did kind of matter. So I would put this in the place, just switch their places. You don't need to delete any, just switch them, because the stuff I want in here should be closer to the top. So it's okay to say, you know, server-side rendering using Next, but I would, for this, instead of saying implemented server-side rendering using Next.js, I would move this higher up in your bullet points as to the second or third one, whichever, and I would instead say used Next.js, React, and GraphQL to implement a server-side rendering, SSR, which improved our front-end performance. That way you have the bullet points that are up here up front rather than behind, because you kind of put, this one's okay. But yeah, this is the only one I'd really have an issue with, is you put all this stuff first. So you just want to say like used the bullet points we need to implement blankety blankety blank. But otherwise, that's pretty solid. Here, this is a part where you can repeat. So there is a weird thing of you do not want to repeat too many bullet points up here. Like the same one, like you don't want like 8 HTML bullet points, but you do want to repeat them in other positions because that shows experience. So because you did not put HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and TypeScript here, it's possible they may not know that you did that here. Probably not, but just in case. So you do want a little bit more over here, just like implemented feature updates using HTML or using JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML, CSS, and blank. That way they just know that you also did that here. So and this is like a higher level resume thing, I guess, is you don't want to repeat too many keywords in the same job, but it is okay and is beneficial to repeat them in other jobs. The problem is most people don't have enough, so I tell them not to repeat the same things. You have basically everything I need here. If you put them here, it gives you an extra year of experience in what they're looking for. Yeah, solid. Is there anything I'm missing? SQL? No, there's SQL. Yeah, I think this is good. That's only the minor quibble. Again, yeah, that's kind of the only minor quibble I really have with it. You have a couple of other things below that, but the most important thing is this. So this should help a lot. Just make sure to apply fast, apply quickly, and your resume should take you far. But do make sure to include some of these things in here, because this is going to give you an extra year of experience. And if they say, well, we're looking for somebody with 3 years, they're going to look at this and say, okay, but they don't have it here. But because you put that in, they're going to be like, okay, we have about 3.5 years, give or take, of experience, or 3 years. So don't cheat yourself with bullet points in different positions. And overall, though, very good. Still just being very nitpicky. The better a resume, the more nitpicky I can get. Still very good. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a retail associate. So this person is a 17-year-old trying to find any job, such as supermarket or restaurant. They are having an issue. So I will be perfectly frank with you. I don't know how to read this resume. I don't know if you just did this to not dox yourself, or alternatively, this is another language I'm not aware of. I am very, very confused, but that's okay. I can still help. So, on my website, which this formatting is going to be a little bit different, you want your resume to look like this. Okay? This is my name. This is a example resume of a retail associate, which is essentially what you wanted to send any blue collar job. So retail associate would qualify. What we're going to be looking for is high school or GED in the United States. Again, I don't know what it's going to be like outside the US. Customer service, basic math, multitasking, basic computer skills such as MS Office, Word, and Excel. Yes, I know MS Office and I know Excel and Word are part of MS Office. Point of sale, which is POS machines, and on time and show proper call off. This is what your retail associate resume should look like. Okay, it should look exactly like this, with not my name at the very top, obviously. If you do not have work experience, this can be projects, internships, or volunteer, but you still need to write them like this. Okay, so operated or point of sale, cash register to collect money from customers and perform basic math to give them proper change, keeping them engaged with customer service while they prepare their food and beverage. I want you to write it like this. Okay, I know you're young, and that's okay. Everybody's got to learn sometime. So I'm glad you came here so I could help. If you need more help on this, on this website where this is also in the same thing, the link is below. I finished a guide of how to get a job by Lee Corlitz. That's me, the Headless Headhunter. This tells you how companies hire and how to structure your resume. I would very much recommend you go through that and look it and then resubmit so that I could find, because I don't know how to read this. Because this is crazy looking. So follow the formatting, follow the guide, resubmit, and I will help you out. But for retail associate, volunteer works, projects work. If you were a valedictorian in high school, if you never missed a day of class, if you volunteered at a bake sale, right? So there's a lot of stuff here which is very impressive, and you seem to be a better person than me. But it's not written in a way that allows me to move for you for an interview, which makes me feel very bad, but that is unfortunately the job. So, rewrite your resume in the formatting. Rewrite it like I showed there in those examples, and you should be able to get a position, okay? I want to help you out. Come on my Twitch chat. I can help you out a little bit more there. But right now, there's really not much more I can do with you because this resume is not in a state where I know what to do with, because everything is off. And I don't know if that's intentional or if you just did that not to dox, which I assume is the latter, but I don't know. So let's go to the next resume. And anybody else could also use that guide. I would recommend it. It helps a lot. Next resume. This is a resume of a project manager. So this person has 150 to 1, which is not great. That is not a good ratio at all. So let's see what we can do to help. What we're looking for in a project manager is details about how and why you did X. The reason you did stuff and the result are crazy important for project managers. That is, yeah, a software engineer should have that, but sometimes they can get a little leeway. But project managers, the how and the why is usually more important than the what. So how you made things happen compared to how you did things. PMP and CSM, very huge. Customer, stakeholders, agile, industry, number of team members, matrix, cross-functional, number of projects, the budget, the multitasking, how you use resources for success, and how you solved problems and influence people. So let's check this out. So your formatting is a little off. These should be wrapped up into the same one, and then I would actually put the PMP above your bachelor's. Excuse me. And so it should be your PMP, CSM, then your master's, and then your bachelor's. That should be the order, and it should be in the same section. Normally, Actually, do you even need your bachelor's? I don't think you need your bachelor's, but this may be slightly different. So put it like this. It's education and certs. In this case, put your certifications up front. Work experience. Delivered 500K software projects with a 14-person team, staying on schedule and within budget. That's okay, but what else how did you do it, right? Like, you can't just say I delivered. It's like, how many projects were there, right? Like, delivered on time and within budget, X projects that had budgets of X with a 14-person team, that kind of thing. So, I mean, you kind of said it, but I need a little bit more detail, right? Collaborated with cross-functional stakeholders and third-party vendors to coordinate project timelines. Also, I think this person had 150 with their previous resume, and then they used it to my formatting. Not just this. Collaborate with cross-functional stakeholders, third-party vendors, coordinate project timelines, reporting deliveries, instruction coordination, to 100% on-time delivery, critical dice. So here's the problem. These are the same sentence. These are basically the same sentence. I need different sentences. This is fine to keep, but also don't use the word. There's also a gap here. That's not huge, but there's a small spelling error. I would say it's, instead of collaborate, just say worked. So your first sentence should be worked with cross-functional stakeholders and third-party vendors to deliver X software projects with a 14-person team on time and with 0 critical delays. So these should be wrapped into the same sentence. Okay, 3 projects. There it is. Implemented detailed projecting system in Jira. I don't really care. Proving on time. Don't care. Too many percentages. Led scope and objective setting, contributing to 95% alignment, reducing scope creep. Don't care. Again, WS using Jira, task placed down across projects. Don't care. Everything here is the same. Project resource executive leadership. Again, you already said that. You basically have 2 bullet points and everything else is a repeat. I need to know more about this. I need to know how you influenced them. I need to know how you did all this stuff. And you don't tell me. You also all say the same thing. So remember, I need 75% of this to move you forward. The gap is not huge. Again, the bigger issue is they may think you are. So you said you had some citizenship stuff and you're trying to find experience in the U.S. A big issue is I don't know what visa you're on and I'm not going to ask, but this would be how you write it. It would be U.S. work authorized, no sponsorship required. If you are a citizen or green card holder, I would put that. If you do not need sponsorship or whatever, that's okay to put it. But a bigger issue is this is all you have. I don't see anything. And while Jira may be important for some of them, and it's okay, it's not enough. Like, where you just tell me the same thing, right? Like, and you don't tell me the details. Lead scope contributing to, okay, how did you do that? How did you convince these stakeholders? How did you do this? The how is more important. And you don't really tell me the how. So I need this to be broken down into different stuff. Okay? I need these to be the same sentence. Right? This is okay. But what about your projects? Like, with a important delay, I was able to convince stakeholders to approve an emergency budget, which allowed the project to succeed and made back money in revenue. Managing a team of 14 cross-functionally across different departments, we were able to get stakeholder and customer feedback while moving that into the budget and staying on time. Like, you don't tell me much different here, so I need better bullet points. Led the end-to-end delivery of a GIS dashboard, don't care, Microsoft Office project tools. So yeah, that's your biggest issue. So first off, remember, this should be PMP, then CSM, then your master's, maybe your bachelor's, you can keep it or not. Then I need better bullet points. This should be 1 bullet point. You can keep Jira, but I need different stuff. I need to know how. I need to know the boring details of your day-to-day. That is how it works. Like, with our 14 team members in engineering, potato farming, and milkshake making, we met with stakeholders to get project coordinations. Facing a critical delay, I was able to do X and Y, which allowed us to be on time, and etc., etc. I need more. Also, you will need to apply fast. Remember, ATS is due in the order you applied, so the faster you apply, the better. So that is what I can do for you now. There's probably a lot more information I'm missing, so if you stop by the stream, it would be very helpful, but for right now, that's what you should be able to do. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume review of a controls engineer. It also might be a resume review of a PLC engineer. I don't know if those are different. I'm sure there may be some difference, but from what I can tell, a PLC engineer and a controls engineer have mostly the same keywords. So this person has applied to over 60 jobs last month across a variety of companies and didn't get any calls or interviews. Now, normally, what I would say to this is, that's not that bad, right? Like, the fact is, 60 isn't, you don't know enough, right? Like, you can't just say, I applied to 100 jobs, my ratio is 100, because that's not how statistics works. You have to give it time. So it's like, for 4 weeks, I applied to 60 jobs, and then I got nothing each week. That would be your actual ratio. Except, PLC engineers and control engineers are in a very hot market. You should be getting a 1 in 10 to 1 in 15 as an average with a PLC or controls engineer. Those are actual numbers you should be getting. This is a phenomenally good market. Do I know why it is? No. So 1 to 60 and not getting anything in 60 is actually way worse than it normally would be. So everything has an exception to the rule. So let's see what's wrong with this. And my guess is you don't have this stuff because this stuff is basic, and you thought that it would be assumed that we would know it in the resume. That is going to be my guess about why this doesn't work. Again, I'm trying not to look at it. It's always in the corner of my eye. So what we're looking for in a controls engineer is PLC and HMI, Rockwell Kinetics, Siemens Dynamics, Allen Bradley, Emerson, Ignition, Control Logic, SCADA. Those are the most important parts. Normally I try not to rank the keywords for people because people then obsess over which is better when you really want all of them, but these are going to be your most important parts. Then it's going to be in no order at all: AI, SQL, MySQL. This is a weird one. Normally any type of SQL works. They specifically wanted SQL and MySQL. I saw that in a lot of different jobs. Cloud, IoT, C#, AutoCAD, Inventor, SolidWorks. These were also in a lot of them. And then this is going to change based on the industry type. So alarms or fluids or crayon creation. That was Crayola had one. So, and in this case, I believe it would be automotive. And I cannot put every keyword for all of those. But if you have these and a little bit that shows me you work in that industry, it should be enough. So let's check out to see what's wrong with this resume, because something is wrong with this resume. All right, that's okay. Again, you should probably put citizenship status and location. AI and controls engineer with 2 years of experience developing value systems on Lyric through SIL using HIL, MATLABs, Google, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so first off, remember, summaries are not needed unless you are changing industries, you have a visa and it needs to be explained, or you are relocating. Those are the only 3 reasons you would want a summary. High-level managers are always going to be the exception because high-level manager resumes are always going to be a little bit different. But let's see this. So, technical specialist, blah, blah. First off, don't do all of this. Okay, so what the heck? You have been here for 2 years and you have 200 bullet points? No, you need 3 to 8 bullet points. The exception to that one is if you've been at the same company for like 20 years, then yeah, you can have more bullet points. But this is not needed. All of this cannot be needed. This is way, way, way overdone. Also, I see this as a trend in resumes. Don't do this. Don't put this in bold or what you think we're going to know and then put the sentence. It just makes it worse. So this is a giant mess, and I don't see anything I need here. The only thing I saw was C#, and that was here, so it doesn't count. It doesn't count if it's in the summary. Do I see... I don't care about CAN. I don't care about S function. I don't care about SLE, SII. I don't care about driving scenario and base vehicle data. I don't care about CPU overloads. ACD, MDIs. I don't care about any of that. You have literally nothing I would like. Link to an Excel-based requirements. Normally, I like Excel. They didn't actually want you to put Excel here. That was one of the other few exceptions to that rule. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I got nothing. I'm looking for this. Where's this? I can't find it. Yeah, there's nowhere here. I'm gonna do a quick search here. Is it PLC? Cool, no PLC. HMI, no HMI. Is this even the right keywords? Because they should be, because this was what a controls engineer had. You said specifically controls engineer. These are the keywords for control engineer. I don't know if you gave me the wrong job title, if there's an error on my end, but I'm not seeing any of this. Where's Alan Bradley? No, there's challenges. Where's Emerson? I don't see Emerson. Where's Ignition? I don't see Ignition. Control Logic. Oh, did I? Nope. Control, but no Control Logics. That's what I'm looking for. Where's SCADA? Nope, no. Whoa, nope, that's Cascaded at the bottom. Is there SQL? There's way at the bottom. No one's going to go all the way down there. Is there AutoCAD? No, there's not. There's nothing here. There is absolutely nothing here. Is there at least SolidWorks? Yeah, this is why. Your resume has absolutely... You need to completely redo it. Redo all your resume. Keep it like this. Every job needs to have between 3 to 8 bullet points. That's all you should have, but is 3 to 8 bullet points. Minimum of 3, maximum of 8. Again, the only exception is if you've been at a company for like 20 years. Then you can put more bullet points because that's going to be the bulk of your experience. But this has absolutely nothing I wanted. The formatting is way off. It's a nightmare to read. And even if it wasn't a nightmare to read, I don't see a single thing I'm looking for to move you forward. To the point where I am concerned that you gave me the wrong job title or I looked up the wrong job title, because this is a very hot market. You should be getting, if you're doing actual control engineers, according to what the market calls them, you should be getting like a 1 in 10, a 1 in 15 with a mid resume. It is a very, very hot market, but I don't see anything here. So this is what I care about. I don't care about any of this, assuming this is the right title, which I'm even triple checking again. Like, did I get the wrong resume? I'm checking right here to see if I even got the wrong resume. Did it download? Okay, no, this is the right resume. Hold on, we're doing a privacy screen real quick. Is this the right resume? Pulling it up. And yes, this is the same resume. Okay, yeah, that's this is your problem. This has nothing I'd need in a control engineer. Absolutely. I don't like ending it on a sad note because I want to make sure people get happy, but there is absolutely nothing in this resume that I could use to move you forward. Not a single thing. I don't think I see a single thing on my list besides C#. No, you have C++. I mean, C++, C#, they may let you out with that. And SQL all the way at the bottom, which they will never do. So that is what I need you to do. If you're looking to be an actual control engineer, I need these keywords. If you're not looking to be a control engineer, you're gonna need to find a job title that works, because the job title is the most important part. So control engineer, PLC engineer, same keywords. This has none of them. I hope this was at least informative and helpful. I don't want to be cruel. I'm trying to be cruel to be kind, and I hope it's not too cruel. But I hope you all just like, comment, and subscribe. That would help me out. And if you need more help, stop by my Twitch chat at Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PSD to 2 p.m. on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. I also finished my resume guide, which is on my website, and I will see you all in the next video so that I can get you ahead of your job search. Bye, y'all.